Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to try to clear up the confusion and the bigotry that's out there when it comes to Asperger's syndrome diagnosis from the psychological community. There are many people who believe that the psychological community are a bunch of quacks anyway, and they've made up this thing called the DSM, which is the Diagnostic Statistical Manual. This Diagnostic Statistical Manual is a whole bunch of quack scientists, or what they call themselves, psychiatrists, who made up all of these different disorders and put labels on them so that they could give you drugs and charge you money. And this goes back to the history of psychology, where they used to put people in hospitals and electroshock them and cut body parts out and do all sorts of weird things. So it doesn't look really good when somebody says, well, I've been diagnosed with a mental disorder like Asperger's syndrome. However, there has to be something that explains the reason why somebody has 100 different jobs in their lifetime, and it isn't just because they're irresponsible. Or there has to be something biological that happened that explains why these behaviors happen. And that's the problem with people saying that there's no credibility to the idea that you have autism or that you have attention deficit disorder, because these people absolutely exhibit these behaviors, and these behaviors are not just, oh, well, we just want to call it something nebulous, and they're just normal, but we don't have a label for it, and we don't have a reason for it, so it can't be that the psychiatrists know what they're talking about, that there's this disorder. And the problem is that now you've just thrown out, you know, you're not looking at something, you're looking away at something here. Okay? So are there biological causes that we can't see, or something that causes autism? Because there had to be something biological that caused this rise in autism. And it could be a genetic mutation, it could have been a small disease. People are looking at this very intensely. So to say that you don't have autism, or that the psychological community says it's not Asperger's, it's this, that, I don't care what the psychological community knows or what it doesn't know, because frankly they're all a bunch of quacks. But they have stumbled on certain behaviors in certain people, and that cannot be denied. And I don't want, I would like to rebuke and throw this video out to as many people who will try to tell you that you don't have a problem, you're normal, and tell them that you're wrong and you have not thought completely, and these people are bigoted and blind-eyed because they see the psychological community as who they are. Now, what could be the root causes of this? Well, there are many. They say mercury. Well, why mercury? Everybody had mercury, you know, a certain amount of mercury. Why do these kids have mercury? Well, that's what science, you know, that's what we're looking into. Biologically, what happens to people who can't get rid of mercury out of their body? Some kids, for some genetic reasons or for whatever reason, can't get mercury out of their body. So they have, when they got shot with thimerosal at a certain age, they had autistic syndrome symptoms. That is undeniable. And so, oh, well, science has proved that it's wrong. No, propagandists have proved that it's wrong. Do you realize that there's a huge money interest in trying to suppress the truth? Let's take a look at copper. Do you know that before the age 1, the body is unable to get rid of copper out of the body? And there are some people predisposed not to be able to get rid of copper out of the body. Okay? Well, we've been putting copper in our water since we've had copper pipes in the 1940s, including lead. How about plastics? How does that affect biologically, and is proven that these things affect the neurological function of the brain? They've already looked at mercury. Mercury doesn't affect the brain. We know that mercury affects the brain and shortens the dendrites. It shortens the ability for electrical connection in the brain. And we know that there are certain diseases and certain things that come with toxicity to man-made things. And there would be a major lawsuit if it was found out what it actually was. So don't be surprised if there are people coming up going, oh no, we found evidence. It's almost like, well, we found evidence of evolution. Well, they don't have real evidence. They came up with all these fake things all this time. And so, oh, well, you're a Christian, you're this, that. Well, I can give you evidence against the scriptures. And you know, oh, wait a minute. And I'm just telling all of you people, religious, non-religious, whatever it is, that it takes an awful lot of work to get down to what really happened. Okay? And I'm not going to deny this or deny that. I'm just trying to tell you that people see things and then they get so jacked up on the idea that they know what they're talking about, but they miss one little thing, like the copper in the pipes. All right? Or the asbestos in the air. Or whatever it is. And I'm tired of people saying that, well, you don't have a problem. Obviously, or we don't. It doesn't look apparent. So what people can't see and people can't understand, they dismiss. And it has been history that has proven that bigoted people have ignored what they can't see. Case in point, okay, the doctors, these educated doctors, who knew all about medicine, and of course are above you like gods. We're told that there's things called microorganisms that when you take your hands and don't wash them, and especially when you go from one patient to the other and taking the blood from one patient who may be diseased and put it into another, that somehow or another that doesn't mean anything because we can't see the microbes. It took them years of stupid doctors killing patients because they couldn't see it. It was so bigoted. Okay, it was the midwives. People went to the nurses and the midwives or whatever and said, "Look, don't go to the doctor. You'll die," because they washed their hands. Well, this is the stupidity of everybody out there, and that's what bothers me so much, is that you're uninformed, but you're halfway informed, which makes you dangerous. And then when somebody comes up with something that might be against what you think or totally rattles your whole world when it comes to your beliefs, now you become not just defensive, you become bigoted. You close your mind because you don't want to be indoctrinated, but you're already indoctrinated. So I would say free your mind. You know, when it comes to God and what happened with Jesus Christ and all that kind of stuff, I would keep an open mind, but I question everything. Every little thing that somebody wants me to take for granted, I question. Every time I go, oh, well, where did they get that idea? Oh, well, this is such and such. I'm just stating it to you. Well, then people get mad when I go, well, how did you come up with that idea? Oh, well, you're just supposed to accept it. And I've heard Orthodox people, Jews, you know, and yeshivas, Christians, atheists, all of you, people who believe this and believe that, you're all duped and rolled because you won't open your eyes. And that's the truth. God bless.